Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to break down a super simple but incredibly powerful tool that's designed to make your writing clearer, more structured, and way more persuasive. Let's jump right in.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. Staring at that blinking cursor, you've got all these great ideas swirling around in your head, but getting them down on the page in a way that actually makes sense? Whew, that's the real challenge. It's so frustrating when you know what you want to say, but you just can't find the right structure to build it on.
But what if I told you there was a blueprint for that? A simple, easy-to-remember framework you could use every single time to structure your thoughts perfectly.
Well, there is. It's called the RACES writing strategy. Think of it as a simple, structured framework that guides you through any response, whether you're writing a quick paragraph or a big report. Honestly, it's kind of like your secret weapon for clarity and impact.
RACS. See? Each letter stands for a really important step in building your response. That's restate, answer, cite, explain, and summarize. This right here is our roadmap for the next few minutes. So let's break down what each of these steps actually means.
So what do these 5 steps really look like in action? Let's dive in and break down the RACES framework piece by piece.
We're going to start with R for restate. Now I know this might seem like a small, almost skippable step, but trust me, skipping it is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. It's the foundation for everything that comes next.
So, before you even think about your answer, you just rephrase the question. Why bother? Well, because it forces you to pause for a second and make sure you totally understand what's being asked. It's like a quick self-check that stops you from going off on a tangent and makes sure your answer is perfectly on target from the get-go.
Okay, once you've locked onto the target by restating the question, it's time to hit the bullseye. And that brings us to the most direct step of all, A for answer. So the key thing here is to just be direct. This is your main point, the core of your argument. You want to deliver it clearly and concisely. No fluff, no beating around the bush, just a straightforward answer to the question you just restated.
You've made your point. Awesome. But now you've got to back it up. So that brings us to C for cite. This is where you really start to build your credibility.
I mean, it really all comes down to this. An answer without any evidence is really just an opinion, and citing your sources, that's what gives your argument weight and makes it truly convincing.
And we're talking about things like hard data, a direct quote from a text, or a really specific example. Citing evidence is how you prove you're not just making stuff up. It's what makes your argument strong and, believable.
Okay, so you've got your answer and you've got your evidence, but right now they're just 2 separate things. You have to connect them, and that is the job of E for explain.
This is the so what step. You can't just drop a quote or a statistic and then just move on. You have to explain how that piece of evidence proves the answer you gave. This is where you show off your critical thinking and demonstrate that you really get the material. All right, you've built a solid, evidence-backed argument. Now it is time to bring it home with a final step. S, first summarize.
Your summary is your final chance to really drive your point home. You just briefly restate your main idea and wrap everything up, leaving your reader with a clear and powerful takeaway. It's what makes your answer feel totally complete and really memorable.
So, now we know the 5 steps, but the real beauty of RACES isn't just knowing the theory. It's seeing just how versatile this whole framework really is in practice.
And I mean it. This isn't just for huge essays. You can use the RACES framework for a single paragraph, for a short answer question on a test, or for a really detailed report. Think about it. A 1-paragraph response might have just 1 sentence for each letter. But in a longer paper, your cite step could be an entire paragraph. It's a structure that scales up or down and brings clarity to pretty much any writing task.
And what's really cool is how you can adapt RACES for different levels. For example, citing for a college student might mean referencing complex academic data. But for a younger student, it could be as simple as pulling an example from a story they just read. The main idea of providing proof stays exactly the same.
So why does this simple 5-letter acronym work so well? Let's get into the real payoff here. Look, at the end of the day, RACES is so much more than just a writing formula. It's really a thinking tool. It forces you to organize your thoughts in a logical way, to back up your ideas with actual proof, and to explain your reasoning. And those aren't just writing skills, they're critical thinking skills that are valuable pretty much everywhere. RACES gives you a clear structure, which takes away all that blank page anxiety. And that lets you focus on what really matters, your ideas. So what's the next great idea you're going to bring to life with it?